I'd say the top concern for, I think, most security guys right now are going through the transition of where technology is evolving so rapidly. So a lot of the solutions and the things that we've dealt with in the past don't really work as well as they used to. And coming up with new ways and techniques to support the change of business and the changes in technology at the same time. A couple of different things. I think number one, I view security as a platform, not as a point solution. So I'm really looking at vendors that can give me breadth of solution, not just fixing one problem. I think the other thing that I'm looking for is openness, because nobody has one platform that fits everything. So I need all my tools to integrate together, and I'm looking for a partner that can help me do that. Number one, ease of implementation, and so everybody says, oh, I can stand up in 48 hours and it'll all work, and none of it ever does, right? It takes a while to get the tool not working, but working in a fashion that my analyst can understand what information it's giving me. So I'm also looking at a tool that has metrics that I can use and help tune my platform to make it even better going forward. Well, obviously, first and foremost, safety to my organization, right? I think we have a responsibility to keep our employees' information and our customers' information safe. But what else I'm looking for is really how can I have it work with my internal tools better, and then also how can I deploy it easily so that when my development partners or my business partners or whatever want to utilize those tools, they can easily get access to them as well. To me, a successful outcome is something where I can measure what I've seen. And so whether it's blocking it further up the kill chain, or whether it's giving latency back to my web partners or development partners, just something that I can go and measure and say, aha, now that I have that tool in, I can tell my ecosystem is operating better. I think if you're not looking for security to be an enabler, you're thinking about the problem wrong. So I know in a lot of cases when people think about security, it's like, okay, what steps or hoops am I going to have to go through? But if you think about it, it's kind of like safety features on a car. If we didn't have seat belts and anti-lock brakes, the cars couldn't go as fast as they can today because they wouldn't be operating safely. That's how we should be thinking about security and how we implement it within our organization. I think it is. In a lot of cases, if you're looking at, especially around identity and access management, you're seeing lots of new tools that make it more convenient for the user and make it faster for them to get on board. So instead of having to carry dongles or whatever, I can just press a button on my phone. And so I think that's how we should look at security tools. How can I stick it into the process, automate it, and make it easy where it doesn't make as much sense to make it complex, and really save the complexity for the things that I really, really need to protect. I look at two things. Number one, is there any way that I can actually take multiple tools out if I put a new one in? So I don't just like to add tools for tools' sake. But again, back to, are there ways that I can add things into like our DevOps cycles or anything like that to make the business actually go faster? And if so, I measure things like that. I think sometimes I can, and so I think you really have to be careful. I make my team answer this question all the time, like, what is the reason you're really implementing this tool? Is it just make you feel good as a security person that you're putting it in? Or can you point back to your partners that you're putting it in for and saying, we're doing this to get this outcome, can you see it? And if not, let me explain it to you, or maybe I should be challenged on what we're putting in. So again, every time I buy a tool, I'm looking for specific outcomes, and I think that's the way you have to approach everything that you do. I think it can. So I think you have to be smart about when you introduce complexity. Obviously, it's much simpler to secure something that is easy to understand. And so I try to go for the simplest solutions, and I think that keeps things more secure when you do. I think there's huge benefit. So when I started at this organization, we had 37, 38 different vendors that we were dealing with. We really have it down to about 4 key vendors that we deal with and a few point selection that fall outside their range. So I make all of my team members tell me why they have to depart from our 4 key partners if we're buying a tool outside of that box. And then it also gives me the ability to, I bring all 4 of those partners together once a quarter and talk about how they can integrate together better, which is something that you can uniquely do when you have that few partners that you're dealing with.